Hi students, I'm Miss Fleeger. Today I'm going to talk to you about different fabric types and their attributes. We're going to start off with the two main kinds of fabric. There's knit fabric and woven fabric. Okay? Woven fabric is made up of different threads that are crossing each other at a 90-degree angle. If you picked up a sewing kit, you probably have a piece of burlap in there. So it looks like this. Now, if I get really close to the camera, you can see that it has these threads crossing over each other. And burlap is an open weave fabric, so you can actually see in between the threads. And it's really fun to play with and learn about woven fabrics with burlap because you can pull on it from selvage to selvage and see that it really doesn't stretch very much. You can pull on it lengthwise and see that it doesn't stretch at all. And then we pull on the bias, you can see that it'll distort and start to stretch. So that's what you learned about last week with grain. Okay, all woven fabrics have these threads that are going up and down and side to side, and they cross over each other. That's how you make weaving. And usually when you make woven fabric, it's not very stretchy because those threads can't pull on themselves very much. Some types of woven fabric that you're probably going to be using would be like a cotton, quilting cotton. I gave you some scraps of that to make your mask in a few weeks. This is cotton. And you'll see woven fabric in other places, pretty much any place where you see like a sturdy fabric that's not going to stretch. So men's and women's blouses are going to be made out of woven fabric. This is a rayon blouse, it's a women's blouse, and it's not very stretchy. Sometimes woven fabrics have a little bit of elastic put in them, but other than that, they don't stretch very much. This is a men's cotton shirt, and it's not very stretchy. That's made out of a woven fabric. Most jeans are made out of woven fabric, and they might be stretchy for you because they put some elastic in, but the only way they're going to make them really stretchy is if you have like a jegging fabric, and that's like a legging that looks like a jean. That's made out of knit fabrics. Knit fabrics, instead of being made out of threads crossing each other, are made out of loops, looped together, and they can pull really easily. So I have this big chunky scarf. This is knit, and it's got really big knit grains. I want you to see that because you can see it looks different from our burlap. I hold them side by side. Instead of having threads going up and down, it has all these loops that are interconnected. Those interconnected loops are really easy to stretch in pretty much any direction. And if you have a clothing item, that can make your clothes really comfortable. It also makes the fabric hang differently. When you're first learning how to sew, generally you try to stick with woven fabrics because they're easier to sew. But knit fabrics are really popular for fashion. So if you want to start making your own clothes, a lot of times you get into knit fabrics. The only knit fabric that you have in your kit, if you picked up a sewing kit, is fleece, which is technically a knit fabric, but it's really not very stretchy and it's a pretty stable fabric. Now, one of the reasons you might want to know about knit and woven fabrics, besides whether they stretch and how they sew, is they will fray differently. So if I can move my computer. If you look at my piece of burlap, when you cut the edge of fabric, the threads will start to come out, and that's called fraying. Over time, if you don't finish the edges of your product properly, like you don't enclose them and protect them, then this fabric will fray over and over again. So let me show you. See, I can pull those threads out. That's called fraying. Now, knit fabric doesn't fray very easily, really not at all. And that's one of the reasons that I'm giving you fleece to use for your pillow. So I recommend you use fleece. It doesn't fray, it's really easy to work with, and it's going to make a really comfy pillow for you. All right, that's all you need to know about knit and woven fabrics, about fraying, and about different properties of fabric today.